Well, it's a new year, a new dawn, a new day, and I'm feeling good. Ow, burnt my tongue. And of course, with New Year comes the obligatory New Year video. That's what this is, just sort of a general video to say, hey, another year's happened, hasn't it? Let's talk about it. So this is going to serve as actually both that sort of general update video and also sort of a TBR video for 2022. What books I'm going to be reading, what sort of book reviews you might be expecting to see on the channel later down in the year. Speaking of general updates, first order of business, last year I hit 500 subscribers on the channel, so I just want to say... Ow, I just want to say thank you for that. That party popper didn't quite go as smoothly as I thought, that bit. I moved my tea over there so that the streamers wouldn't go in my tea. They went over there anyway. Metaphor for existence, am I right? But yes, there are 500 plus people subscribed to this channel now, which is insane to think about. Like, I'm imagining 500 people in a room who have come to see me, or at least have entered the room and have not left yet. I know in the grand scheme of things, like compared to big channels, that's still relatively minor, but you know, to me it's a lot, and I'm grateful for every single one of you who has pressed subscribe. Thank you for coming here, and thank you for staying here. Another bit of big news, which requires a second party popper, let's hope this one goes a bit more smoothly, is it has been 10 years since I started this channel. I began it way back in December of 2011 to be a sketch comedy channel of all things. Now it is quite firmly a booktube channel. It's gone through its phases. It's like Doctor Who. It regenerates once in a while, this channel, and then some new content comes out, but it's all the same. It's all coming from the same soul. So that's pretty crazy, and just again, thank you to anyone of the 500 plus subscribers who has been here from the start. Thank you, and anyone who is new, thank you. I'm just very grateful that there are actually people out there who are coming to watch me do this silly little hobby that I have. And speaking of the booktube part of it, speaking of books, let's talk about TBR, my to-be-read list for 2022. Now, I've got it here. It's a bit scruffy. It's not very well polished at the moment. Last year, I began the year with, I think, 16 books on my TBR, which was a very manageable target, I thought. I felt very confident about that. This year I have over 40, which I feel less confident about achieving. I'm not gonna list all 40 of them right now, and to be fair, 3 of them are The Doors of Stone, The Winds of Winter, and The Thorn of Emberlin, which are like under the question mark category. Will they come out? Who knows? If they do come out, I'll read them, but not holding my breath. So, notable inclusions on my TBR for 2022. The entire rest of the Wheel of Time series. This is my main sort of challenge for the year, is to finish the Wheel of Time. I'm currently on book 3, The Dragon Reborn. You can expect a review for this once I finish it. But yeah, I really want to try and get through this whole series within the year, which is, it's gonna be a challenge because they're all about this size and there's still 12 left. But I think I can do it. You know what, yeah, I'm gonna be confident this year. I will do it. This is gonna be a big Wheel of Time year for me. Another notable inclusion on my TBR list is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a book I'm very much looking forward to reading. This is one that I'm gonna read very soon, possibly the next one that I read after I finish Dragon Reborn. It seems like a very cool story based on the blurb, and I've heard other book reviewers talk about it, and it seems like something that I will enjoy, so definitely looking forward to this one. The Once and Future King by T.H. White, the classic Arthurian novel. I do like a bit of the old Arthurian legend, BBC Merlin, and since this is largely considered to be the definitive text regarding that, it's something that I've been wanting to read for ages, and this year is the year I'm gonna do it. I'd like to get into some Discworld books this year. I've not read anything in Discworld, and I feel like I really should. I've had several friends talk up the Discworld books and Terry Pratchett's writing, and it just feels like something that I should get into. Mistborn, the next 2 books in Era 1 of Mistborn, I definitely want to read those, and the Live Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, which is the next trilogy in the Realm of the Elderlings book series of hers. We've established that I have trouble saying that series title, Rest of the Realm of the Rest of. As I mentioned in my Farseer trilogy review, I was considering just diving straight ahead to the Tawny Man, because that has the same characters, but as I've been pointing out in the comments section, Realm of the Elderlings is more satisfying read in chronological order of the publishing dates. So, Live Ship Traders trilogy, That is definitely on my radar for this year. Robin Hobb's writing is fantastic, so I am looking forward to diving back into that world. I've also got Stormfront, the first book in the Dresden Files. I've got Blood of Elves, the next book in the Witcher series, and if I have time, I would like to do a reread of the Waking Land trilogy and read it in the correct order this time, which I failed to do originally. I went 2, 1, 3, which is not how you're supposed to read books. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed that series and would like to read it in the correct way. So those are my most notable titles from my TBR for this year. If you're especially curious, I might just go ahead and put the full list of all of those books so you can see the full scope of what my TBR is this year. But those ones that I just mentioned there, those are like the main ones. Those are the big ones that I'm going to try and get through. So you can probably expect reviews for at least some of those coming up on the channel across the course of the year. I have some other upcoming videos planned. I have another couple ideas for pitching a pilot. As I mentioned, Wheel of Tom is happening, where I read the Wheel of Time and do a review for each book, so there'll be a Dragon Reborn review coming up in due course. And also, one of my favorite videos that I made last year was the Lord of the Rings characters as emo songs. I had a blast making that video. I still think it's one of the best videos that I've ever made. If you've not seen it, do check it out. And I am writing a sequel to it. Lord of the Rings as emo songs part 2 is coming, so look out for that. I might also take that concept and apply it to other characters from the books I've read, possibly the characters from Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose, possibly the characters from the first Lore series. That'd be an interesting one. Also, someone did challenge me in the comments of that video to do Thorin's party from The Hobbit, and that... who knows? We'll see what happens in that regard. Speaking of music, another thing that I've been considering is making videos about music, about my taste in music, like album reviews, discussions about various bands, that sort of thing. What I'm wondering is, if I do make videos like that, do I put them up on this channel and go to be sort of like a, you know, half books, half music channel, or do I make a new channel that is specifically for that and is more concentrated on that? Nonetheless, that's just something I've been thinking about, so if you do see any videos pop up on the channel where I suddenly start talking about punk rock instead of fantasy books, don't be too surprised, because it's something I've been thinking about. Those are the main two things that I do think about, punk rock and fantasy. And so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Got a lot of books to be on with reading, but I don't think I'm gonna feel too bad if I don't hit this target. It is more books than I have ever read in a single year. I'm not gonna force myself to read, I'm just gonna take a chill time with it. That's what this year's gonna be about, just having a bit of a chill time with it. So that's sort of the general update for 2022. That's what I have planned. Let me know in the comments what sort of things you have planned, if there's any books that are particularly on your TBR, or if there are any books that I've mentioned that you have any opinions on, please share them in the comments below. So once more, I want to say Happy New Year. Thank you for 500 plus subscribers. If you like this video, please leave it a like. If you want to see more from me, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Happy New Year. Metaphor for existence, am I right?